because of me, or maybe the youngest, but the other ones are quite senior journalists, which means that they have very strong opinions. And as far as I've been able to listen to, maybe this is one of the most valuable assets of this trip, the people coming, honestly. It's not just the level of the information, but also the quality of the analysis. I've learned a lot during briefings, but I've done a lot in the coaching, which I think it's quite important to understand the kind of job you're doing, which is excellent, brilliant, and the kind of job that we can also do. I mean, I think this is one of the important points. Sometimes the activity of delivering information is not so, it is focused on certain points, but maybe it's missing an important fact, which is the kind of journalist you're addressing to. In this case, when you're working with political editors, with op-ed editors, with international analysts, or even, which is my case, with a professor of law and journalism, okay, it's a bit difficult just to say you're wrong or you are missing some information, because sometimes it's not that you're missing, it's that they have considered it is not so important. Okay, I absolutely agree with you regarding the Alderweireld case and so on. I mean, these are just open lies. Okay, I have also serious doubts of the simple fact that the boy was dead. Sorry. And there is another point which I think it's important. I can understand all the efforts, and in some cases I've also made my job to show the conflict through the Israeli eyes. I can understand this, and kol hakavod, it is excellent job. But sometimes you're running the risk of showing Israel through the conflict, which is different. And from my point of view, in this trip, we've had a lot of content about the conflict and very valuable information. Yesterday, for instance, in the Ministry of Defense, at least for me, I have contents even for a book. Okay, I'll ask for a credential. Okay, but having said that, there are a lot of stories which are not maybe so interesting for a correspondent based here, but which could be crucial for other important activities. For instance, for books. For instance, for long reports. I'm not talking about a 3 pages report. I'm talking about a whole series for a summer. And now there is a third point, which is the face of Israel, which is, at least in the Hispanic countries, which is my field. I come from Spain, okay? Which is the vibrant civil society you have in Israel.
Absolutely.
Which is not just Keren Kayemet Israel, which is not just the entrepreneurs and the businessmen and the chambers of commerce and so on. It's not just that. My first trip here to Israel, no, sorry, that was not the first one. The second one was about the Holocaust. Okay, and you think that you know a lot about the Holocaust because you've been to Yad Vashem and so on. And the more you study and the more you read, and the more people you listen to, the more you notice that you're absolutely unaware of a lot of important things. And it's been, for me, it's been the same experience here during these 3 days. You think you know Israeli civil society because you'll have some information about organization of human rights and of environment. But you discover a whole new phase about different groups and different people, and I insist, especially because of people who are here. And from that point of view, I think that sometimes it is difficult to calculate the importance of a story which could seem to be superficial, or could seem to be of no interest at all. For instance, I can assure you, in Spain it will be much more interesting a report about Christians in the Middle East, Christians in Israel, and the church, than maybe a real scoop about John Kerry, unless it is in the front page. And then that's different, of course. But my conclusion to trip is that I think it is important to have very good information about the conflict, but it is important to understand, especially when you are, I insist, not a correspondent based in Jerusalem or in Tel Aviv, that the first thought of an Israeli when he wakes up is not the conflict. It is the price of the food, or the taxes, or that's what I mean. That's real life.
It's really not the conflict. That's one thing that I want to say, that what